Welcome to the Ogden City Council's quick meeting recap for the work session and city council meeting that took place on Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. In the work session, the council reviewed and discussed proposed budget amendments regarding the use of contingency funds and water CIP amendments. The proposed changes include the use of $419,475 of contingency funds to fund the increase to council wages in accordance with changes approved in December 2021. Increases to engineering wages to fund a temporary full-time position, funding to cover the Dino Park Fund deficit as explained with the 2021 financial audit, and to provide additional funding to the 4th Street Ball Field CIP project and the Lauren Farr Pool Improvement CIP project. In addition, the proposed amendments transfer CIP funding from 2 water utility CIP projects to provide $900,000 in additional funding for the transmission line study project and $100,000 for filter plant equipment. This will be considered by the council on April 19th. The council then reviewed the proposed Ogden Onboard plan and amendments. The proposal is to formally adopt the Ogden Onboard Transit-Oriented Vision and Implementation Strategy, or the Ogden Onboard Plan, and a subsequent amendment updating the station area plan for the Union Station campus and the intermodal hub area. The plan and amendments have been adopted by the UTA Board of Trustees but have not been formally adopted by Ogden City. The Ogden Onboard Plan is meant to provide direction on land use changes that can be made along the BRT corridor as a way to catalyze transit-oriented development in key areas and to maximize the usage of the BRT system. This will be considered by the council on April 19th. The council then reviewed a proposed rezone at 149 West, 3175 South. The purpose of the rezone is to expand a car dealership. The property is located to the north of a car dealership, but the dealership cannot extend into the property until it is rezoned to C3. This lot is part of a larger piece of property that extends to the southeast, and since only a portion of the property is requested to be rezoned, the property would need to be subdivided before it can be rezoned and sold. The petitioner is also requesting to rezone a portion of the same property from CP3 to M2 to match the zoning on the southwest end of the property. Property is currently split by 2 different zones, which is typically not a good practice. By rezoning portions of the property and subdividing the new C3 portion, this property will no longer be split by 2 different zones, and the car dealership will be able to expand to the north. This will be considered by the council on April 19th. The council then reviewed a proposed rezone at 1845 Jackson Avenue. The Weber Morgan Children's Justice Center is requesting the rezone with the purpose to build a Children's Justice Center on the property. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the request, but they recommended adding a conditional overlay to the C2 zone, which would limit the property to a professional office for child counseling services, limit the size of the facility, and set design standards consistent with the East Central District. The Planning Commission also recommends that the building style must look residential. This will be considered by the council on April 19th. The council then reviewed a proposed right-of-way vacation and rezone at 1st Street between Washington Boulevard and Adams Avenue. The petitioner is planning on redeveloping the old Wainsguards property, and they would like to expand the property further north by vacating this right-of-way and rezoning it to C3. The Planning Commission unanimously recommends approval of the vacation and stated that the vacation is consistent with the general plan. The rezone is part of this project, but will be considered as a separate item. The petitioner is proposing to rezone the rear portion of 2 lots located at 101 and 131 Adams Avenue, as well as the 1st Street right-of-way location between Adams Avenue and Washington Boulevard. Both of these items will be considered by the council on April 19th. In the council meeting via common consent, the appointments of Leon Araujo, Dean Armez, Kensania Thomas, Joseph Blake, and Stephanie Howerton to the Ogden City Arts Committee were approved. The appointment of Matthew Keel to the Ogden Trails Network Committee was also approved. After receiving the sunset presentation from the Christmas Village Committee, the council adopted an ordinance to extend the sunset provision for the committee to April 1st, 2025. After a public hearing, the council approved 2 ordinances related to employee salaries and cost of living adjustments. The salary schedule amendment provides a 2% cost of living increase for all steps within the ranges of all sworn fire, merit, and non-merit employees. The council also approved the implementation of Phase 3 of the Evergreen Classification, Compensation, and Benefit Study for the remaining employees and elected officials. The council also approved a fiscal year 2022 budget amendment to cover the costs associated with these increases. The total impact on the fiscal year 2022 budget is $765,675, with $481,625 in general fund revenues coming as an adjustment to increased sales tax received. The remaining funds will come from existing funds in the Associated Enterprise or Internal Service funds. The 2% salary increases will take effect with the pay period that began on April 2nd to fund increases through the end of the fiscal year. The range placement table for sworn police personnel was adjusted in October 2021 to increase salaries to meet market demands. Phase 3 of the Evergreen evergreen classification, compensation, and benefit study was also implemented for sworn police officers at that time. The council then approved an amendment to the fiscal year 2022 through 2026 capital improvement plan. The approved amendment includes changes to both the scope and the budget of the Modify Terminal Building and TSA Holding Room project. As federal funding has become available, additional money may be allocated to the expansion of the airport terminal and holding facility. This expansion is needed to handle multiple commercial flights simultaneously. The project was approved as part of the amended fiscal year 2022-2026 capital improvement plan with a one-time budget of $2,070,000, consisting of $1,550,000 of federal grant money at $520,000 from the city's CIP funding. The approved amendment includes a total of $5 million over a 5-year period, consisting entirely of federal funding. The entire recording from the meetings of April 5th can be accessed on the Ogden City Council's Facebook page and podcast with timestamps to skip to specific agenda items. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to the council office at 801-629-8153 or send an email to citycouncil@ogdencity.com.